In
All
the
right,
middle
so
of
it looks like we are live.
good. It feels good to be live.
Yeah,
It
feels
does.
good to be live.
It does.
So
We'll do
I'll
it
just do a
live.
little introduction for the fans here, and then we can just basically dive right in with
That might
questions.
be overstating things a little bit, fans. I think
So so tonight I'm going to be doing a live stream.
you're gone. You're just frozen and gone.
How about now?
I can hear you. You're not moving.
Can you hear me?
I yeah, more or less. It seems. Did you just turn on the Instagram thing?
I
Now you're
did.
now you're
So
moving,
I
and
turned
I can
down the
hear you.
quality on my. You can hear me now? Okay.
I can hear
I
you
just
now.
adjusted the bandwidth. All right.
All right, cool.
So before I crashed and broke my internet, I was saying tonight we're going to be having a live here on the channel with another fellow YouTuber, Erik Wahlstrom. So
Hi,
for the
hello.
few folks in the audience who might not know what you are, might not know who you are, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here on YouTube?
My name's Eric. I started a YouTube channel about film photography about 2 years ago, just because I lost my job and had a lot of free time, and I looked around on YouTube for stuff that I thought was kind of similar to what I wanted to see, and there wasn't anything, so I decided to put some videos out, and I started doing just some stuff on like the RB67 and my large format camera, and gradually it's become kind of a weird obsession of mine to try and make the videos better and work on them. I hear myself.
Okay. Well, one of the things that just occurred to me is if I'm in the Instagram live thing might not work
Your
because they won't be
video
able
and
to
audio
hear.
quality
So
is
I think what I'll probably just do.
so you're like cutting in and out like crazy. I don't know if the Instagram thing is meant to be tonight, man.
It off.
It seems like a failed just like a lost cause to a certain extent. It's
Failed experiment to start
yeah,
off.
you know what, but
Okay,
a brave experiment nonetheless, you know.
yeah.
Who
Hey, you
dares
gotta try
win?
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh okay. All right.
So, um, so I don't know if I cut you off with what you were saying in your introduction there. Do you have anything
No,
else?
my name's Eric. It's like my Instagram profile says. My name's Eric. I make camera videos about old cameras. I mean, it's just it's a thing that I enjoy doing. I started it sort of because I had some free time and I saw that there wasn't anything like it. And then as I kind of acquired an audience and acquired people who are interested for whatever reason in watching me, talk about photography, I became more and more interested in sort of streamlining and improving my videos, and I'm still it's a long way to go, but it's like this kind of I don't have a lot of hobbies. So actually that's not true. I have a bunch of stupid hobbies, but like this is one of them now. Is like is really working on the channel, trying to make the videos as good as they can be, looking at other videos that I think are better than what I'm doing and trying to like, how do I get there? How do I integrate this? How do I, do this thing or that thing? You look at someone like Ben Horn, and you look at his videos and just from an aesthetic perspective, they're so beautifully done. And it's like, okay, how do I integrate some of that stuff into mine? Or Timothy Ditzler, I don't know if you follow his channel, but he's got this whole kind of like hip hop, trip hop vibe to all of his videos. He shoots a lot of stuff in black and white, like the video itself. And his videos are just really, really lovely and really cool. And, mine are mostly just me just drinking some beers and just sitting down and winging it for 5 minutes. But like, there's a lot of stuff out there that I look at and I'm like, how can I, even something you look at like Casey Neistat's videos, or you look at like the Digital Rev stuff or those things, and you say like, what's good about this? And it's just kind of a weird little hobby of mine to keep cranking these things out. And it's certainly not a career path, but I enjoy it.
That's cool though. So what got you interested in shooting specifically analog photography and making videos about that rather than say, I don't know, something like camera reviews of DSLRs or that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, for starters, my DSLR is like 9 years old at this point. So no, maybe not that old, maybe 6 years old, but it's old. It's an old camera. So like nobody wants to read a review of that. I mean, beyond that, I took a film class, a photography class, and we developed black and white, just 35 millimeter film. And I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the process of doing the prints myself, which was really cool. That's something I haven't done in a long time, but you know, from start to finish, it's this kind of tactile experience, and it's a creative experience in a way that digital photography, I don't think, is. Which is not to say that digital photography is not creative, but I mean that the
Mhm.
entirety of the process of going from loading that roll of film into your camera to printing it, you know, in the darkroom, it feels more like a craft in a way, and you're involved in it in a very intimate way. That's I think I don't want to say more rewarding, because I hate to. I'm not here to say digital photography is bad or you shouldn't. You know, there's a lot of ways where it's
Mhm.
superior to shooting analog, but a lot. You know, and for the vast majority of people, digital is makes a lot more sense. You know, like, but I'm the type of guy, like when I bought my first camera. You know, my first serious camera, I bought a Canon T2i. You know, I spent like $600, and I bought it, and I bought the 50 millimeter 1.8, and I took the kit lens and just like hit it and put the 50 millimeter 1.8 on, turned it to manual, and said, all right, let's figure this out. Like, how do I do this? Because I figured if I could figure out how to shoot a prime lens in manual, then I'd understand how to use a camera, you know?
Mhm.
And I initially bought that camera specifically to do video, because I wanted to do a short film, because I wrote a script to a short film, because I went to school for writing. Uh, and I ended up just shooting stills and really liking it and really getting into it. And especially, I think the 50 was a huge part of that, because that separation of the background from the foreground is something that's so unique to actually having like a real camera. You can't really do it on
Mhm.
your iPhone, even though they fake it in that new commercial in Italy or whatever. Uh, and I found that really satisfying, really rewarding, really exciting. And then, you know, when I got into shooting black and white, I eventually did some research online and saw, you know, large format cameras. And weirdly enough, the first
Mhm.
film camera I ever bought was a Graflex Crown Graphic. I went out and I'm just like, I'm going 4x5. I'm not even gonna mess with 120 or 35 millimeter. And that was a tremendous experience learning how to not screw up photos. And I still screw up. My success rate on my 4x5 is just abysmally low. Like, I probably get every four photographs I take, I get one usable image, and then out of every 10, I get one good one.
Mhm.
It's a especially for something that costs that much. It's a difficult endeavor. But I you know, and then I just kind of, you can buy gear for so cheap when you're looking at used film stuff, that you just kind of start hoarding things and get into it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's become sort of one of the things that's happened to me is I ended up like acquiring cameras faster than I could shoot them and do anything with them really. And I think after I started my channel, I was justifying it to myself, like, oh, I'm gonna make a YouTube video on this, and then I end up
yeah.
with like 20 or 30 film cameras. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I'm never
I,
gonna get to shoot all these.
I've got a ton of cameras that'll probably never wind up in a video. I don't know how many cameras that I've never taken a single photograph with, that just people are like,
Mhm.
"Hey, do you want this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You know, like,
Yeah.
I get like text messages from my friends at a flea market or something. What about this? Is this worth anything? And I'll be like, "No, but if $5, go ahead and buy it. I'll pay you for it." You know, like a
Yeah.
stupid box camera or something. I don't know. I'll put it on my shelf, because God knows I don't have enough. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a reason. I just like it, you know, and I like old things. I like tactile things. You know, I own two typewriters. You
Mhm.
know, I just think they're cool. I like that stuff. So I use when I do shave, I use a single blade metal razor. I'm all in on like being affected and annoying.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I get the badger hair brush and everything. I'm a dork. I'm a dork 100% of the way through. It's,
Do you like to wear bow ties too?
I mean, I don't always. It's tough to pull off a bow tie successfully. I do own bow ties. Uh, you know, I like, the last time I wore a bow tie was when last time I wore a tux, you know, because if you wear
Right.
a tie with the tux, come on, man. But in general, I do own like too many ties for how often I wear a suit. I've probably got like 20 ties in my closet. I don't know. I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who can say?
Very cool. So do you develop most of your own film or all your own film, or you just like do that occasionally? Like I saw you did a video on developing black and white film at home.
Yeah, just the black and white. I develop black and white film at home because it's faster and I'm impatient, so I can take the photos and then develop them that night. It's also cheaper, like way cheaper than taking them to a lab.
Yeah.
And you have like a sort of kind of creative control over how you develop them, and you know whether you want to push or pull the film or do all sorts of stuff. And different developers give different looks and all that. I don't develop C41 on my own because I've seen some spotty results from people who've even people who know what they're doing, and there's just not really much reward from it. Like in terms of like, it doesn't offer a lot in the same way black and white does, where it's going to be a pretty consistent. If you do it correctly, that photo is going to look the same every time. I believe. If I'm wrong, you know, feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section. Somebody will. Actually, sir, the C41, when you, I don't care. Like, it's alienating my audience tonight.
Oh man, that's like the fun thing about YouTube. It's just like you know it's coming. Anytime you upload a video, it's like someone.
You know, and sometimes they're right, and I'm like, okay, but I hate it when they're wrong and they leave. Like the one time I was doing that when I did the Mamiya RB67 video, and this kid was like, actually 85 or 80 is 50 millimeter in medium format. I'm like, no, that's in 6x6. This is a different format. And then he just disappears. He doesn't even respond to me.
Yeah.
Why did you come
never
here
to be seen again?
Yeah, like, oh, here's some advice for you. Guy who made a video on YouTube. At that point, I had like 500 subscribers. Like, why don't go outside? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like, go see the sun.
Why are you coming to me, man?
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
you can't tell I'm tired. So I'm like,
it was funny. I posted a video comparing the Nikon FM2 and the Nikon F3, and I thought it was a fairly mild video, but like I'm getting a lot of like hater comments on that video. It's like people just
comments they're so tough to take, man. I wish that I were cooler than I am and I can get mad, but I like every time there's one that's like, if there's one that's like really insulting, I'm like lacing up my boxing gloves. I'm like, let me find where this guy lives. Like, I
can't handle it.
Give me your address. I'm coming to see you. Like, just kidding. Don't please, trolls. Don't. That's not true. I totally don't care.
Yeah.
I think you're lucky that when you're making videos, like I can't even imagine if I ran like a gaming channel or something, or if I were like,
oh my God,
a woman. Like I feel like my life would be, I would just not bother with YouTube. I think if I were like running, like the people who do like gaming, or like if I did like video game console reviews or just something like that, I don't even know, like politics, I think it would just, I couldn't even do it. So luckily this community is pretty cool and pretty positive overall. So you know, there's not a lot of it, but you know, there's always a little bit. There's always something.
So it just comes with the territory.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
cool.
Now that I've derailed that completely.
So you talked about a little bit shooting more large format stuff and maybe shooting some large format portraits. Is that something you've tried out at all, or something that you want to do? Because I know I've seen your landscape stuff.
Yeah, I tried it recently and it was a horrible failure. And I actually almost did a video on the failure. So I didn't. This is like basic stuff. This is like stuff where the people who leave the comments are right, and they're like, oh, actually, you should compensate for the bellows extension, and it's like, no, don't worry about it. Like I didn't realize, so I had the bellows extended way far out so that I could do shallow depth of field portraits, and I didn't take into account the fact that that was going to drop however many stops of light from it. So I underexposed them. They look terrible. So. I just shot some large format this weekend in Brooklyn, but it was cityscapes, so it's going to be more of the same for me. But I would love to do some portraits, and I've actually I was on like Model Mayhem trying to find someone to take their picture, but that site's weird, man. That's like, it feels like the casual encounter section of Craigslist sometimes. It's a strange spot to be. So I just I'd love to find some people, but I don't know. I work a lot, so we'll see.
Yeah,
that's all.
I've had the most success finding people through Instagram and then like live meetups. So it's easier if you can do like a live meetup. Like I don't know if there are any photography meetups in Albany, but I've
I'm sure they're great if there are. Yeah,
yeah,
that sounds
or
like the
maybe you could
place.
organize one. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's the way it's been the most successful for me, is like reaching out either cold to people on Instagram or meeting people through live meetups or having people reach out to me. That's the most success I've had with contacting models or finding people to shoot portraits with. Yeah, Model Mayhem's weird. I
It's
made an
weird.
account I made an account a long time ago, and I tried to reach out to some people on there, and it just seems so like seedy. I was just like, I don't want to do
It's for
this.
like lonely middle-aged men to like pay women to let them take their pictures. It's super creepy. I I don't know, man. Like I've talked to some people, but a lot of it is just like you feel like there's something else going on with like everybody involved there. And it's like, no, I just want someone to take their picture. I started to slip into my like commenter voice there again. I can't help it. I'm like, no, I just want to take your picture. But like, I really do. Like, I just need someone. And then when I introduce, like, I run a YouTube channel, I'd like to videotape you while I do it. Like, I don't know. They're like, I'm going to end up in somebody's van for sure. 100%. Anyway.
Someone in the comments asked, "What T-shirt are you wearing?"
Oh, it's an X-Files T-shirt. It's got Mulder and Scully, and it says "I want to believe."
Nice.
Yeah, why not? I can't see the comments. That's sad.
Yeah, I actually
Oh, are they?
what I do
Is this live on YouTube?
yeah, so like that's actually how I have another tab open with the
That's right.
video streaming.
I'm gonna log into that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm coming.
I can see it.
Get ready. Here it is. Film photography talk with you. Oh man, that preload, man, that's bad. I look.
Does it look bad? I can't even see that yet. It always picks some random thumbnail.
All right, there we go. Oh, it's just jumping back and forth wildly. All right, okay, cool. I'm gonna pop this out. Can I pop it out? Oh no, I can't. Maybe I can. All right. This is off to a great start. Okay, I'm gonna see.
Someone asked what your thoughts are on Cinestel 800T. Did you shoot any of the
yeah,
medium format stuff?
Yeah, I shot one roll. On Instagram, I shared one of the photos. It was a man with an iguana on the waterfront of the Hudson. He was just chilling out there with an iguana. So I asked if I could take his picture, and he said yes. And I super overexposed it, like super, because I thought I had Ektar in my camera. I'm not sure. It was a mistake, but it looks good actually. I think that in general, so Cinestel's cool. I think it honestly, despite the tendency to shoot it fast, I think that it looks best with more light, which is weird. I honestly think that, you know, when you push it to 1600, which is what I did with that roll, it gets a little bit grainy sometimes. You know, I shot a few rolls of the 35 millimeter. I've got one more roll of the 120, and hopefully I've got something special planned to do with that. But you definitely get a cool look, and that remjet layer removal where that adds that halation effect is kind of cool. It's not intended. Yeah. It's sort of like a byproduct of it, but it's cool, you know, whatever. I'd be interested in actually shooting cinema film also, just straight up Kodak cinema film, but you have to send that out to get it processed in a different, you can't just use C41.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I've shot 2 rolls of Vision 3 250D that I bought from the film photography project, and I think there's only like 2 labs that'll do it. Yeah. And the turnaround time is slow. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, come on, man, it's one roll. But maybe that's why, like maybe they wait till they have a batch to develop or something. But yeah, I like the look of it. It's a really interesting film.
The second part of Asian cheese toaster, Asian cheese toaster said, is there any interest in mechanical watches? Yeah, absolutely. They're cool. I want to get a Movado automatic 1881, but I can't afford one currently. Yeah. So that's the watch I would like to get if I were, you know, just with that, when I hit my PewDiePie status, I'll grab one.
Yeah, then the watch companies will be reaching out to you.
Yeah. Sell my watches. Movado will pay me. to where there's
Yeah. Or if you
anyway.
blow up on Instagram, then you can take a photo of you like throwing a watch up in the air and
My
have
second
that front.
that'll be on my second Instagram channel where I just take pictures of my butt. That's my when I in yoga pants. Yeah. That one's really taken off.
Yeah.
Hi, Jose Rios. Thank you. It's very nice of you to say.
We got a very supportive community here.
Yeah, it is. It is. People are like, wow, this conversation is structured and efficient. You can remove the remjet yourself with baking soda and then either do the C41 cheeses. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of craziness.
Is it a good idea to buy Polaroid P600 on the Impossible project? Oh, I don't want to. You probably. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm derailing your. You had a plan, and I'm just like off the rails here.
A little bit.
Right, just reel it back in. You got to take control and just reel it back in.
Take some control here. Yeah.
Smack me.
What's your favorite camera that you've shot with so far? And it could be analog or digital. Like what's
the Pentax 6.7. Easily.
Nice.
Specifically the 105 2.4 lens, but it's just an immensely satisfying piece of equipment. It feels good when you take the pictures, the way the shutter feels. Yeah, it's incredibly satisfying all around. I love it. That's my favorite camera. Number 2 would probably be maybe my Yashica Mount 124G. I like that camera too. That's a lot of fun to use. But just the look, the mix of how fun it is to use with the results you get out of the Pentax is pretty incredible. So yeah, that one hands down the Pentax.
Do you prefer shooting medium format over 35?
Oh yeah. Because 35 millimeter, it's cool, but the quality level that you get out of a 35 millimeter negative is I guess okay, but when I scan it on my Epson V700, they look fine, but in certain films, like Ektar looks good. But the quality level that you get out of a Pentax is out of the Pentax or out of any 6x6 or 6x7 camera is so much better than what you get out of 35 millimeter that I just find it difficult to go back. And I said this in one of my live streams before and people got mad at me, but I almost feel like versus 35 millimeter, I would just shoot my DSLR.
Yeah.
But no, I won't. I'll still shoot film. But I mean, like, just in terms of like the ease of use versus quality in it, there is an actual argument to be made that 6x7 negatives look better than DSLR photos, even like a D810 or something like that. There is an actual argument you can make. Some people are going to agree, not agree, whatever. You can make that point. That stacks up well against a D810 or a Sony mirrorless camera, but 35 millimeter, it's more just for the experience, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. For me, I prefer shooting, like the experience of shooting 35 millimeter, but I prefer when I nail it, I prefer the results, obviously, that I get out of like medium format, because it's just, there's so much more detail, there's so much more clarity. And a lot of the stuff I shoot on 35, it's like, wow, this is super grainy. And I generally like to have photos that look a little bit more crisp, and you can get that with medium format.
Yeah, for sure.
But then on the flip side is generally like the types of photos I shoot, I'm out like moving around a lot in the city. And my go-to medium format camera is the Mamiya RZ67, which I know what the form factor is like on that camera. So
yeah,
throwing that in my bag and carrying that around all day is like not something I usually want to do. But if I have like
gotta get those deadlifts in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's an awkward. It's not even so much of the weight. Like people talk a lot about the weight, but I've shot weddings with a Canon 5D with the 24-70 on there. And that weighs as much as any medium format setup, but it's just easier to hold. And the RB67, that form factor is exhausting.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just awkward more than anything. Granted I have the RB67, but same general idea.
Yeah, it's like the same, size and everything. So yeah, it's just I don't know, but I have been shooting more with TLRs lately. So I have this camera that I've been shooting with a lot. This is the Minolta Autocord, and it is super light. Like it's very, very light, and the shutter is also really, really quiet. So I've been happy with that. So I think if I can get some decent shots out of this camera, I probably will go back to shooting medium format a lot more than I have been.
Get a Yashica. I had nothing but good luck. They're great. They're great, and they feel good. It's that 6x6, right? That auto card.
Yeah, yeah.
Square format, cool. Yeah, the square format's fun to play with too. It's satisfying for sure.
Yeah. Do you watch any of Eduardo Pavez's videos? He did like a
I think I've seen them. I don't watch a lot of YouTube that isn't I watch stupid stuff on YouTube. I watch people I know's videos. Like I said, I watch Timothy Ditzler's videos. I watch all Ben Horn stuff. And when Alan Brock ever puts up a video, I watch those. You know, people that I've talked to, people that I've interacted with, and I don't know or I've never talked to Ted Forbes, but I watch all his stuff because he was one of the first people that I watched when I first got into film. I thought he was very helpful and he's got a very soothing voice.
Yeah, that southern draw.
Yeah. Most of the stuff I watch on YouTube is like iDubbbz, like stupid crap. So I don't know. People playing video games. I'm way dumber than anybody can possibly imagine.
So, but it was cool. He did like a 30 days video where he shot a roll of film a day for 30 days using a Mamiya C330, and it was interesting hearing his experience.
That's pricey. That's an expensive mode.
Yeah, exactly. I think he shot black and white and developed it all at home, so that kind of cut some of the costs. But yeah, he had some interesting feedback on like shooting in square format and different like how you can compose in the square format to try to create depth and layering and stuff. And I thought that was really interesting because that's one of the hard things.
Totally different from anything because what was the form factor on old TVs, like 4x5? Is that the 4x6, 4x5, something like that? And
yeah,
35 millimeters, 4x6. And then, modern, cinema and modern TVs are 16x9. So it's so odd to go to that completely square, and try to compose. It's very different from any, whatever you're used to.
Yeah. Cause like your typical like rule of thirds or like place something on the third, it just doesn't look right. Like, and so you generally start with like, okay, I'll place the subject in the center, I guess, but then that just sort of feels static.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I guess so. I mean, yeah, maybe. I think it's fun. I think like things like rule of thirds and stuff still apply. You draw that little Fibonacci spiral in your brain and try to work it all out. I don't know. I like this.
Have you shot much with like the classic Polaroid cameras or experimented with that kind of like?
I've never. No, the last time I shot a Polaroid camera was when I was at a wedding when I was 19, and this girl I knew brought me as her date, and someone had a Polaroid, and I took a bunch of pictures. That was it. That was legitimate. It wasn't for like fun. That was like, this is what we have. We'll shoot some pictures because I'm old. Yeah. So I haven't. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I'd be interested. I wanted to get a back for my RB and shoot Polaroids on it, but then Fuji was like, no way, man. We're going to make that a bad investment ASAP. And the results I've seen from the Impossible project aren't like super great looking to me. And as much as I like the experience of shooting kind of like old cameras and neat things and stuff like that, I do, if I'm going to invest money, I do look for quality. And I do look for something that's going to produce images that are viable outside kind of kitschiness, if that makes sense. So, if I'm going to spend, a couple $100, I definitely want high resolution images, I guess, if that makes sense. And that's not entirely true. Like I considered picking up a Holga, but, and then I was like, I don't really want to spend $30 on this. I could buy, 3 6-packs instead. Like,
Have a better time.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I'll probably do something on the Holga soon, but yeah, this will be posted as a full video, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you good,
It
good,
just automatically goes.
good. I can't wait.
So, have you shot with any like disposable cameras or anything like that? Like I have a friend who's like,
just as a child, and as a like, it wasn't like a fun experiment. It was like we went to Walgreens and we were going to Arizona to see my grandparents, and I was like, let me buy this disposable Kodak camera or waterproof camera and take pictures with it. I never, it was never, you know, I haven't done it since I was a kid. I actually considered they have them at CVS. I considered like grabbing one and just taking it out and taking some pictures and see what they look like. But I decided there are better uses of my money.
Yeah, I've wanted to do a video on like just the experience of shooting with disposable cameras, because that's something that like I shot up, like I like shot a bunch of those like growing up. So that was something that I thought would be kind of a fun experiment to do for the channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how old are you? You're like what? Like, how old are you?
Take a guess.
I don't know, 24?
No, I'm gonna be 28 next month.
28. Well, I just turned 34, so whatever, man. I'm done. I'm cashing. I'm checking out. I'm done. I made it through 33. So, and then I was like, I don't know what to do now. Yeah.
The only way to go is just to keep going, man.
I guess that's the only choice I really have. You can't go back. You got to just keep moving. Yeah. So, yeah, 34. That was fun. Yeah, and just again, I apologize. I was in you know, spoilers on a video coming up soon, but I was in Brooklyn all weekend and just got back yesterday, and I had a bunch of stuff I had to do yesterday, so I am
under the weather.
Yeah, just running on fumes right now. It was like we went out and drank and like got up at 8, and we tried to get on top of some rooftops, and it was a big thing. It'll be a fun vlog video for everyone. But I'm hoping to get up there again and shoot some more. I want to shoot some cityscapes. That's really my goal. So yeah, we'll see. Should be cool. I mean, I'm hopeful. You know, I love the city. I really enjoy it. So.
How long does it take for you to get down there from where you're living?
2 hours.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should go down all the time.
I know. I should. I'm probably going to go back. And I was there last month, and then I was there this weekend, and I'll probably go back again later this month. I've got some stuff I want to work on. And I know a bunch of people, so I always have a place to stay, which is cool. We stayed in Bed-Stuy this time, but I know some people in Park Slope, and I have a cousin who lives in Manhattan. So,
yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, segue into like what you're planning on doing next. Like what are some of the videos that you're conceptualizing for your channel as you're moving forward into 2017?
Well, more vlog style content with photographs edited in, more hiking stuff, more large format hiking photos and vlog stuff. So you know, I would like to get, you know, like a GoPro with a Karma grip or something like that, and do some you know, we live right by the Adirondacks, so some hiking stuff, some travelogue kind of videos with large format photographs integrated in. I'm going to be doing more film stock reviews. I'm going to be doing more camera reviews. I actually have the weirdest thing about this channel, and one of the greatest surprises and coolest things is the number of things people have just like sent me, you know, like cameras and film stocks and you know, I had a guy send me beer, like just a bunch of different beers, like that he really liked. He has a beer review channel actually, but yeah, James Heckathorn is his name if he's watching this. Thank you for the beer, James. It's all gone now. I don't know what happens to it, but yeah, it's so I've got a bunch of stuff to work on. The biggest problem for me is balancing the amount of time I have, because I work about 50 hours a week, so I have a relatively limited. You know, and it's like it's a lot of work. Like it's basically, you know, when you sent me that link and we started this up, I was editing a video to get posted tomorrow, because my goal now is to post a video every Wednesday at 2 p.m. just always, you know, and then if there's extra stuff, I'll post it. But I'm editing a Kodak. I can say it, a Kodak Tri-X video, going way back to, you know, whatever, 7 years ago when I started shooting Tri-X, you know, up until recently. And I think it'll be decent, you know. So, but it's a you know, I think people don't understand how much work actually I do put into the videos. I know it doesn't look that way sometimes, but they are like sort of like a second job. So like balancing working a lot and then on your day off, just really grinding out a video can be tough. But it is something that I enjoy. I have a lot of stuff planned, film stock reviews, cameras, travelogue stuff. I'd like to do, you know, I'm not even sure. I don't know. And I'm kind of always open to suggestions from people and the people who watch my videos. I know I've gotten to know some of them pretty well, which is really interesting. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from them. So I would like, you know, it's always you know, an open door. And if anybody has any suggestions or questions or whatever, I'm always, you know, looking for advice on where to take it next. You know, I'm probably going to integrate some digital content at some point in the future whenever I get a decent camera, just because I want to buy a new camera. So why not make a video about it? I'm probably going to buy a Sony mirrorless, but yeah.
Nice. You should get the A6000. It's
I'm
fantastic.
probably going to buy the A7 too.
Well, that's even better. You've got the money for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was that because I considered the A50-100 because it's got the flip selfie screen on it, you know, and I was looking for like a vlog camera, and I was like, why not just buy a new camera and use it, you know, instead of buying a vlog camera? Well, I spent, you know, because I was looking at like the Canon the 7G G7X or whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
and it just seemed I can't afford the A7R. That's literally like $2,000 more than the camera that I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I don't know. I just don't have $2,000 burning a hole in my pocket, especially since New York State wants a lot in taxes this year.
Yeah, I would recommend going for a full frame camera if you can afford it, because that's what like I bought the A6000 because that was basically like what was in my price range at the time, and now it's like I want to go up to the next step, because just seeing the difference in quality and the difference in depth of field that you get from like a crop sensor versus a full frame.
I mean, I don't know necessarily. So I have I have a Canon 5D Mark II that I bought like, I don't know when I got it, 6 years ago. It was $2,000 when I bought it without a lens. And I moved up from the T2i. And the T2i with the 85mm lens on it was like an amazing portrait setup. Like really, I took some really beautiful photos with that because the 85 was cropped. It acted sort of longer. It really compressed everything. Yeah, I mean, I did, because you do have the bigger film surface. That's right. I mean, no matter what, since I've been used to shooting on a 6x7 film surface, that 35mm sensor is not going to feel like, you know what I mean? No matter what.
Or compared to the Pentax 6.7.
Yeah, the Pentax 6.7, when you shoot that 105 2.4, that's essentially like that's the equivalent of like a 0.95 in terms of depth of field. It's super, super, super narrow. And the fall off is just gorgeous. I can't say enough about that lens. I love it.
Yeah. Do you have any other lenses that you really like besides obviously that one, because you always are talking about how much you like that one? But are there any other lenses like either 35mm or medium format that really have like stuck out to you or surprised you?
I mean, my favorite lens previous to that that I'd ever used was the 24 through 70 L lens, the 24 through 72, the second generation L lens from Canon. It's just a really beautiful lens that takes really high quality photos, and the zoom is a really nice feature. So I've never shot like Leica. I've never shot Hasselblad. I've heard, the Contax 645 comes with that 80mm Zeiss lens that's supposed to be pretty beautiful and pretty legendary, and I'd love to shoot that. I'm actually doing a wedding this summer, and I'm probably going to rent a Contax 645 and shoot some of the photos on that as well as on full frame digital, and try to integrate that and see how that. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to rent a camera I've never used before and try to use that for half of my shots. But I think it'll be fine. It's a camera, right? So there's a lot of lenses out there that I would like to try, but my experience is pretty pretty limited, but I love that Pentax lens. I've had some good, the 85 millimeter 1.8 for Canon, the EOS lens. That's a great lens for what it costs. It's like 300 bucks or 400 bucks. It's beautiful. The 70-200 L lens, that for what I mean, that costs a lot, but that's a really beautiful lens also. It's got IS. Actually the Tamron 24-70 with IS is a really nice lens too, and I've heard really good things about those new Sigma lenses. I don't know, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, the quality of the lens is matters, right? But it's not the be all end all. I think that Pentax is unique because it is such a fast speed for that 6x7 surface. It's such a fast lens for, a large medium format setup. Like the RZ67, it would be the 110 2.8, right? Would be the closest to that, and the like when you get into like the Mamiya 7 and stuff, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like all their lenses are f4, right? Like, isn't that the fastest speed on those?
I think so.
Yeah, so that, I mean, that's somewhat limiting, and to have a medium format lens on a 6x7 body that is faster than a lot of like 35 millimeter lenses is incredible. The Mamiya, is it the Mamiya M64 or M64J, whatever, any of those? They have an 80 millimeter 1.9, right? Don't they? For that camera?
Wow.
For a 645. I would love to try that. I'd be really interested to see what that looks like.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's obviously a smaller film service, but that's a very fast lens, so I'd like to see it. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does. It's like it's interesting to see what other lenses that people like to use, because I think there's a lot of emphasis on like camera gear and like camera bodies in terms of like the content that's put out on YouTube, and I think like the lens really matters a lot, and you can get a lot.
It matters the most.
Yeah. So
yeah,
like, I mean, like, so I've invested a lot more money into like good lenses. Like I've got a lot of Canon FD lenses, but I've only got like, 2 Canon film bodies, and they're both like, they're not like the pro level ones. I have like the FTB and the AE1, but like,
when you're getting into more expensive bodies, I mean, for most people, the benefits are going to be on a film camera. I mean, really, you just like my large format camera, it's just a box that you put the film in the back, and then the light is the most important thing. The lens is the most important thing. So like, it just functions as a box, you know what I mean? And of course it's got movements and stuff like that, but it's all about the glass, because there's no sensor, you know what I mean? There's no sensor. There's really nothing but the lens in that film surface. So, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I agree. Yeah.
So someone asked in the comments, aside from a Pentax K1000, what's another good 35 millimeter camera to look for?
There's so many. I mean, it's really go into a camera store and look. You get a Canon AE1, a Canon A1, any Nikon 35 millimeter body, the Minolta X series, the X370 or X700, like the Pentax K1000, of course, is a great starter. There's so many. Like, there's so many good 35 millimeter bodies, and especially if you get something that was like a prosumer kind of camera, $100, camera, lens, you're good to go. Buy some film. It's tough to do wrong. I'm blanking, but there's others. I think Yashica made good ones. Konica make beautiful glass, really beautiful cameras. So, I think I want to say that Minolta and Konica are now essentially Sony's cameras. If I remember correctly, they were purchased and became Sony. So that's why they have, the tradition of really good glass has continued there. But yeah, there's so many good options. I mean, you really just go to a camera store and see what they have. And if it's working well and the glass is clean, just take it out and shoot it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're first just getting into film, like whatever camera you can get your hands on that's like working, like run with it. Another one I really like is the Olympus OM1. That's one of my favorite, like manual cameras. But yeah, it's like, don't spend a lot of money. One of my buddies, he's like he's a big Nikon fanatic. We've done a couple of videos together on my channel, and he's like always recommending like people buy like a Nikon F100 or a Nikon F5 as like a starter camera. And I'm always like, that's crazy, because like you're going to spend, $150, $200, $300 on a camera body that is probably more power than you need if you just want to like experiment with film on the side.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you need burst fire to run through a roll of film in 5 seconds? Do you need, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even need a functioning meter, to be honest with you. Download a light meter app on your iPhone. It works fine. Like, they work well. You know, I have a spot meter for my large format camera, but that's a lot of work. Your iPhone will do it for you. Just hold it up, meter the scene, and go. Like, you know, and if you're shooting something like Tri-X, it's so forgiving that it doesn't really, you know, Tri-X or Portra, just guess over, you know, like whatever you do, guess on the side of overexposing your film, and you're going to be fine. So yeah, I mean, I think that spending a lot of money on a film camera to start is silly. I think to a certain extent it's silly no matter what, unless you're doing it for, you know, like I had a friend ask me, he was going to buy a full frame camera, right? And he's like, he posted on Facebook, he's like looking to move up to a full frame camera. And I was like, why? Like, are you making money with your photography right now? Are you, like, he has a fine camera. He's got like a Sony mirrorless. And I was like, are you earning money doing it? Is there a reason that you need to do it? I was like, why not just wait? You know, like just work on getting better at taking pictures, you know, and if you book a wedding and you're like, I really want a full frame camera to look professional for this wedding, then go for it. Then spend your money. But like, just, you know, like when you look at like Ansel Adams photographs, they're not super sharp by today's standards. The lenses he was using, the film he was using, doesn't matter. Look at what's her name? Now I can't remember. There's so many, like Lewis Hine. You know, the technology they were using was nothing. You know, Dorothea Lange, whatever. They weren't using the best sensor and the best glass and all that, and they created these really beautiful images. So just worry about the images first, and then the gear will take care of itself eventually. I mean, maybe it won't, but you know, whatever. Then you'll get in a position where it makes sense to spend all that money, I think.
Yeah.
And I know because I went and bought my stupid 5D for no real reason, but I bought it because I booked a wedding and I was like, I want to look like a pro, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think if you're just like posting photos for Instagram or whatever, like whatever you've got, it's probably fine.
yeah, it's totally fine. Are you putting them on Facebook? Nobody's going to look at your photos on Facebook for starters. So who cares? I know. I put them on there. I'm like, oh, these are so great. And I know no one cares. I see other people put theirs on. And I'm like, oh, nice, whatever. Moving on. I'm gonna argue with this guy about politics. Like, it's like pictures of your kids, man. Like, I'll look at the first one you put up and be like, oh, what a cute kid. And then after that, it's like, okay, enough. I've seen them. Done. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's funny. So what's your favorite video that you've made and published on YouTube so far? Or what was the most fun to put together?
I feel like they're all terrible to a certain extent. Not really. Like, I have like a crisis of conscience every time I upload a video. I'm like, is this garbage? Is this terrible? You know, and so according to some people who post, it is, you know, but I enjoy doing the second Ektar video. I'm still very proud of my RB67 video. The one that really that was the one that it's got like 40,000 views, which is, you know, whatever. But that was like the first video I did that got a lot of attention, and I was really proud of that. That was a couple years ago. So I'm still fond of that video. I think I did a pretty good job with that. I'm proud of my new Ektar video, and I'm proud of kind of the format that I've adopted that I think is a more professional format, and sort of a rhythm to the videos and the way they function and the way they play out. That's more consistent from video to video in the newer stuff. And I'm you know what, I'm very proud of all the viewer submission videos that I did, because they've really kind of cemented a community around my channel in a way that maybe wouldn't have happened otherwise. And I'm very grateful that people have really taken to those videos in the way they have. When I first did that first one, it was Wojtek, who posts on all my stuff, said, hey, would you be willing to look at my portfolio? And a lot of people were like, hey, look at my portfolio. And I was like, oh, that's a weird idea. Maybe we could make a video. So I put up that video saying, send me your photos. And I was like, I hope I get enough photos to make a video. You know what I mean? Like, I hope people send me enough stuff that I can put something together. And that night, I remember I was like, I think I showed my dad, I was like, look at my inbox. And it was just I got, I don't know how many submissions, but like hundreds of photos. And I'm still kind of, we're winding down now, but it was that first couple of nights, I'm still weeding through those and, you know, putting stuff up.
Yeah.
So it was, so that those videos I'm proud of. I'm not always as proud of like the production and things like that, but you know, there's always things you look back on that you've gotten better at, and go like, huh, you know, what sound quality in a lot of my old videos is jarring to me because it was just with a shotgun mic. You know, I bought a Rode video mic and did sound that way. And it's just, it's fine. It's better than like an you know, just recording it with the camera, but it's not at the standard that the new ones are. So it's very jarring to watch those videos, and, you know, it's hard to, cause sound is important, you know? But I guess those videos, I'd say the submissions, the RB and the Actar probably are my favorites.
Yeah. No, you can definitely see like an improvement in that you've invested more time into like really upping the production quality, and like even like the thumbnails and stuff that you're using on the videos and stuff. Like it looks more professional, feels more professional, and I think it's awesome.
No, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an issue of kind of just like, you know, nobody told me how to use Premiere. You know what I mean? Nobody told me how to put a video together. So it's this kind of thing where you're just like, I'm going to make a video. And the first one you make is like, it's terrible. And then you get better and better and better. And each little thing you notice, you know, you change. And it's like fiddling with Premiere or fiddling with After Effects to make that little introduction that's in all my videos now. You know, it's like deciding, you know, looking for a font online that I like and finding Nutra and being like, I'm going to use Nutra now, you know, like just, and kind of like streamlining the process, working on editing things, watching other content, you know, and seeing what they do well and trying to go from there. So it's always a work in progress, and things never really work out the way you want them to, I think, to a certain extent. But yeah, they'll get better from here on out too, I think. I hope, you know, unless someone writes something really mean and I just quit.
The comment that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, if that happens. But one guy gets just so far under my skin that I'm like, I'm done. Just shut it down. Delete the channel. Move to the main shore and become a fisherman. Just go live
Never
in the
go on the internet again.
Yeah, it's like, didn't that guy have a YouTube channel? No, legend says he's living in a trailer in the Mojave Desert now. It's like scrounging for muskrats to eat. I don't even know where muskrats live. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if probably in the desert, but
maybe chinchilla. What lives out there? Lizards, little lizards.
Yeah. So what are some like goals you have for the channel in terms of either like audience growth or like types of content or like any bigger projects you want to work on? Or...
Oh, I don't know. I would like to work on bigger projects. I don't have like audience growth goals. I mean, like I figure, I don't know. You know, you always have like, you always hope, you know, you would love to see the channel grow. To be realistic though, the size that I would need the channel to be to make it like a viable source of income is probably not something that's, it's probably not reasonable to expect given the content of the channel,
right.
And given me. I think that I would like to get somewhere around like 30,000 subscribers. I think that would be cool. It would, but I mean, that's not such a huge, more than anything, I just want the videos to be good. I want to grow, you know, what audience we have. I want to keep kind of the positivity and the tight knitness of the audience. I would like to up the production quality. Like I said, I want to do more vlog style stuff. I want to keep getting better at taking pictures, and yeah, I mean, I mostly have goals of making videos that I'm really, really proud of, with photos that I'm really, really proud of. And I'm like, I would say that if, you know, I started at a 1, I'm at like a 5 now, you know, and there's a lot of room left to go versus where I started. So I would like to, I just like to keep getting better, you know, and then hopefully the audience follows that, you know. If
yeah.
That's I know that's kind of like a mealy mouthed answer, but that's how I feel.
No, it's good though. I mean, it's interesting to see where people want to take things, and I think you have been putting a lot of effort into improving the quality. And I think if you continue to do that, like more people are going to find the content.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe. I mean, it's a hobby. So like you know, this sounds weird and pathetic, but like we moved out here. about a year and a half ago. None of my friends live here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have friends in upstate New York. All my friends are back in Buffalo or in their New York City. So I'm kind of just like floating out here. So I've got a lot of free time. Not a lot of free time, but my free time is just kind of gets channeled into this. You know what I mean? It gets channeled into this sort of hobby. So yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to do to keep me from losing my mind in Albany. And it's just, some people, I don't know, some people build deck chairs. You know what I mean? My dad builds Adirondacks deck chairs. Like, he woodworks in his spare time, and he does things like that. I make these silly YouTube videos about cameras. So
yeah,
that's it. That's the best answer I got for you.
Very cool. So are you excited about the revival of Ektachrome, or at least the announcement that Kodak's trying to bring Ektachrome back?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm more excited. I did a video on it. I'm more excited for what it potentially says about the future of film, that Kodak is actually introducing a new stock or an old stock again. I think that Kodak is, they're going about it in a weird way, and their emphasis on Super 8 is sort of bizarre. But I'm just happy to see a new film stock. I hear these kinds of sort of vague, nebulous claims that, like, oh, film is coming back, film is more popular than ever, whatever, what have you. But then I go to the place that develops my film, and they say they're shutting it down to 1 day a week. We're shutting it down to 1 day a week because nobody brings in film. Or you see, Fuji discontinuing instant film and things like that. So you hear this kind of narrative that film is, making a comeback, but at the same time, you see these signs that maybe it's not. I like to think that it is, and I like seeing something like Ektachrome coming back as maybe a sign that it is happening. The Cinestil 120 Kickstarter, the Intrepid Camera Kickstarter, Ferrania potentially someday making film. Like these things are good signs. Yeah, and I'll definitely shoot Ektachrome. I had a guy send me a bunch of photos that he took with it on Flickr, and they're beautiful. So I'd be excited to try it out and see what it looks like. Anything's, because who knows how long Fuji's gonna be making slide film. It seems like they got 1 foot out the door. They are just itching, just give an excuse to to drop it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. Have you ever shot any like expired Ektachrome?
I never bought or shot expired film, just period.
Period, yeah.
Yeah. I crave order and reliability in things, and I kind of want to know what I'm getting into, and the idea of expired film scares me a little bit. The closest I ever came was I was interested in that Aerochrome, the infrared film. Because I don't know, I forget the guy's name, but have you seen those photos that guy did in the Congo?
Yeah,
where he went and took those photos with the Aerochrome, and that was like, I don't know how much, how similar photos of like Saratoga Springs would be, but like, I was inspired by that, and I was like, I would like to try this film, but it's so expensive. They want like I don't remember what they want, like $50 for a roll of it or something, and I'm not.
Yeah, arm and a leg.
Yeah. I haven't. When my oil baron inheritance comes down, then maybe I'll start grabbing some of that up. But until then, I'm getting a knot. Yeah.
So let's see. So if anybody in the audience has some questions, just leave them in the chat, and we'll try to get to those.
Are there people? The chat's like, is anybody here? What are we? Who's watching?
We still have 10 people watching.
Oh live. No, 10. My God. I'm gonna throw a little tweet out that says I'm live.
We are live.
I shared it earlier, but I just want to. I'm gonna tweet it. Oh wait.
Did you see the that Lomography is releasing a film that was like aged in wine casks or something like that?
That's ridiculous. I don't. Good, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Like, what is that even?
Yeah, I don't know. So what do you think of Lomography? Give me your thoughts on Lomography. Tell me. Hit me up. What are your thoughts? I've never shot any Lomography film. I don't know anything.
I think some of the stuff I've tried is pretty good. So basically what they do is a lot of their stuff is just you know, it's a rebranded, you know, off-market film that they get in bulk, I think. But you know, I've shot like Lomography 100, and it, you know, it looks pretty good and it's cheap. Some of the stuff they do is kind of cool. Some of the like I shot Lomography Purple, and that was like an interesting film. Like that's like it's like a film that kind of mimics the effects of color, like color infrared film.
Sure.
And that was kind of cool. Some of the stuff they do is cool, and then they do some other weird like stuff that's really catered towards like a hipster audience and that kind of thing. And I'm not super into that, but I think it's cool that they're releasing, you know, new film products, that they're promoting film, and that they're trying to make it cool. So
do they
more
produce,
power to them.
Did they produce any film that would be even remotely close to like a professional grade, like Actar or Portra or something like that, or, you know, 400H, and anything that's even going to be close?
I would say the color negative films are decent. I mean, they don't actually manufacture any film. That's the thing. Like they repackage, you know, film they get. I don't know if they get like off-market batches of like Kodak or something. Like there's a lot of like you can read online. There's a lot of speculation of like, you know, like Lomo color is like actually, you know, Kodak Portra. Like there's all kinds of speculation on that, but I would say the quality's fairly good. Like I haven't shot a ton of like different stocks to really try them out, but at least like Lomo Color 100 was a decent film stock.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to give it a shot. It's not cheap though, is it?
It's cheaper.
Is it cheaper
than like a roll of that is like cheaper than Portra.
How much does it run?
Let me look it up.
Well, I can do that. No, I mean, I'd be interested. I feel like I feel like I should give it a shot. I mean, I'm pretty, like, for whatever reason, when I shoot film, you know, I'm open to experimenting and stuff, but really, like, it's like I find things that are good that I trust, and then I just kind of want to stick with them. You know, the most experiment, I have a viewer, Victor Norgren, who, if you don't know his channel, check it out. He takes, or not channel, but his like Instagram, he photographs really beautiful Swedish girls in black and white, and his photos are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really, like at Vic Norgren, VIC Norgren at on Instagram. His photos are awesome, and he sent me 3 film stocks. He sent me some Delta 100, Pan F plus 50, and I don't remember what the third one was, but I shot Acros, and I loved the Acros. I just loved it. So, you know, but it's Fuji, so we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, I love Acros. Like I shot some of that too, or Acros, or whatever it is, but that's good. One of my favorite black and white stocks. So I've looked up a 3-pack, 35 millimeter, 36 exposures, Lomo Color 100 is $950 on B&H.
A 3-pack?
Like 3-pack, yes. It's like three, you know, about $3 a roll, $3.25 or something a roll.
No, that's good. Yeah, if you buy a 5-pack, it comes out to what, like $5 a roll, generally $6 a roll of like Portra. It's like $30.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Just don't get into large format.
Yeah, really? I know, it's funny. One of my friends, he's been looking at the Pentax 6.7, and then yesterday he was like sending me messages like, "Oh, have you ever looked into large format?" Like I was looking at this like Crown Graphic on eBay, and I was like, look at the film. Like, look at what a box of film costs.
I know a guy who's got I know a guy who has a channel where he takes photos with both a Pentax 6.7 and a Crown Graphic. I've heard good things. Tell him to check it out. Yeah. I gotta just, you know, just in case I mean, I've heard he puts in work.
Yeah. I think I might know him.
I did some photos with both my Crown Graphic and my Pentax this weekend. So, you know, I'm going to ship them out and get them back probably you know, early next week, and hopefully put something together, you know, with that. It was really cool too, because we used a Sony cinema camera, like a pro grade cinema camera. My buddy Noah is he works freelance. He does like filmmaking, documentary work. He like worked on Project Runway for a while. He lives in Brooklyn. He worked on like Project Runway. He's done a bunch of cool stuff, and he had access to like a Sony cinema camera, and he uses a bunch of like cinema lenses and stuff. It was really cool. So we were able to kind of do some video. But we'll see how, you know, he's just going to compile it and send it all to me, and I'm going to try and hack it together and see if I can't make a cogent video out of everything.
That's cool though.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun actually, and I love the city, so you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's something I'm trying to do more is like bring more people in to the channel who want to collaborate because there's a lot of people here in Boston who are like interested in doing like video stuff and like pitching in to help with the channel. So like I've been testing out and shooting stuff with different people to see if there's anybody who's like decent and can actually like help me put together some better videos. Because I figure if I'm bringing people in, I want to bring people who can actually help me make videos that are better than what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I sometimes I miss my buddy John because he used to be my cameraman when I was in Buffalo.
Yeah.
He was like, it'd be like a weekend. I'd be like, John, can you follow me around and record me taking pictures with this box camera? He'd be like, sure, you know. And it was
Yeah.
nice to have that, you know, just to have a. And he was pretty good at it. My dad tried to do it once and was terrible. So, um, but yeah, yeah. So it's kind of I gotta do the whole like selfie stick thing, myself. But we'll see.
Get that GoPro.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to buy a GoPro. It's just like a lot of that stuff. It's just the cost given what I'm actually using it for. It's difficult to justify when there's other things that I would like to buy. You know that I might have an actual practical application in my life. Um, but yeah, I mean that's kind of the hope with like the Patreon is that people will chip in, you know, or things like that, specifically to help fund the channel and fund, you know, film and developing costs and gear and things like that. But you know, it's free. Of course, it's free. You know, I
All right. So it seems like
yeah,
we got
chat's not
these.
popping off here.
Yeah, we've got one question that asked. I think we'll just take this as the last question.
Sure.
So they asked, do either of us print our work? So do you do any like darkroom printing or even inkjet printing, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've done darkroom printing of 35 millimeter Tri-X, and I really enjoyed it. The resolution you get out of a printed 8x10 image is so much better than scanning the 35 millimeter and trying to print it. So yeah, I've done that, and I've done like had done prints myself of my work before, but it was primarily stuff that I did on digital. You know, wide angle kind of landscape work. You know, where you take 3 images and then, you know, do layers and compile them all into one super,
Stitch
you
them
know,
together.
dynamic image. And that was kind of that sort of thing was kind of one of my incentives to move into shooting film, so I didn't have to think about that. I could just try and get it right in the camera.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you should ask, does anybody have any questions? All 12 of you, does anyone have any questions before we call it a night here? And that would be interesting.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I haven't done darkroom printing, but I have printed both stuff that I've shot on film and digital. But it's just whatever inkjet printing. So I think it's cool. Like it's cool to see your work in print. It's a different experience. It's nice to have like especially like nice to be able to take something that is a photo that you shot and blow it up and put it on your wall. Like I always enjoy that. It's like, oh yeah, I shot that photo. I remember that.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
But yeah, but other than that, like I haven't got into darkroom printing and that sort of thing yet. It's something I want to try out eventually,
So
but
it's a lot of fun. If you can do it, it's a lot of fun, and the images you get will surprise you.
yeah.
I just got a text. Sorry. Yeah, I guess there's no.
Right.
Is it is it me? Do you normally get more people in the chats here? Because when I've done live streams, it's been a pretty raucous crowd, rowdy bunch of.
It like varies. Like the last one I did, the last 2 I did, I got a lot of comments. So I don't know.
It must be
Who
me.
knows? Maybe it's.
Gotta be me. It's not that I don't understand. What are your day jobs? What are your day jobs? Asked Asian Cheese Toaster.
You go first.
I'm a documentation specialist, technical writer and editor. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's one of those where you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't asked that. That's not very fun at all.
Yeah. I work as a librarian, which always like surprises people whenever I tell them that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's been real, right?
Yeah. So on that note, so where can people find you? What's the best way to connect with you?
So you can find me. My channel is just my name. It's Erik Wahlstrom, which is ErikWahlstrom. You can my favorite book. You can find me on Instagram at Eddie Dubs. That's Eddie and then Dubbs. And I'm on Twitter too. If you just you just go to my name, erikwahlstrom.com. I've got links to everything in the about section. Are you ready to buy
All right.
P30? What is P30? My favorite book is Blood Meridian. It's either Blood Meridian or Moby Dick. Those are my two favorite books. It's true. What's your favorite book, Dan?
Oh God, maybe Catch 22. That's like probably the last one that really stuck out to me.
Wait. Jeez.
Let's see if this guy gets something off.
I need this.
Don't leave us hanging, Ruben.
How did you know it was Moby Dick? I want to know how you knew that. I do love that whale, man. Yeah, I'll definitely I'll buy Ferrania's film when it comes out for sure. Yeah, I know. I'd strike the sun if he offended me, you know.
Here's a good trick for live streaming. Just tell people you're going to end the live stream and then they'll start commenting.
Yeah. Oh, I did say if I wanted a tattoo. No, for a long time, I wanted a tattoo of Moby Dick sinking the Pequod. And this is spoilers, straight up spoilers. And Ishmael escaping on the coffin that Queequeg built. That's like floating off as the Pequod was sinking. I think it would be if you Google Moby Dick tattoo sleeve, you can find some seriously dope Moby Dick tattoos. I tried to find Blood Meridian tattoos, but apparently like the Cormac McCarthy tattoo industry is not really taking off.
It's not popping off as much.
Not as much. No, that's a good book though. And I also, if you're going back to when I was like 11 years old, I've read the book Dune like 4 times. I like that book a lot. If you like sci-fi.
Yeah, that's another one I really enjoyed. It's been a while since I read it, but
yeah, I read it when I was 11, and then again when I was like 16, and then again like twice in my 20s. So I like Dune quite a bit.
So you're due for another one.
No, I just finished Outer Dark by Cormac McCarthy. That was a fun romp. Yeah, Dune is fantastic. And I've tried to read The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen. Like I keep trying to read it and I keep not enjoying it. So like I might be too dumb to like it. I guess it's supposed to be very like an important book, but I can't get into it. I read about half of Portnoy's Complaint last month too, and then was like, I'm done.
That's too much.
Yeah, it's just not for me, I don't think. I'm not the target audience. So all right.
Well, on that note and on those book topics, I guess we can wrap this up here. So thank you very much for coming on to the live stream tonight. It's always a good time to talk shop and get a little bit of analog love out here on YouTube.
Yeah, Analog Love. That's actually the name of my Slow Jams album. Look for that.
It drops March 9th.
Yeah. I'll keep digging into my YouTube channel for the first single.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dan, for having me.
Yeah. Take it easy. Have a good night.
Night.